This is lemon olive oil ice cream with chewy butter cake, and those black dots are poppy seeds. When I was first looking into how to make a lemon ice cream, I saw there was like a few different ways that people get the lemon flavor into their ice cream. So I decided to do like a combination of everything that I saw. So the first thing I'm doing here is I'm macerating the lemon peels, which basically I'm just peeling the lemon, like not getting down to the pith, although I guess sometimes I do. I don't really know. And just putting it into all of the sugar that's going to be going into the recipe, all the sucrose. In the recipe, I think I say to leave this overnight, but you could just do it like a few hours ahead of time or even just an hour. I don't really know. It'll do something if you do it for just an hour, but then you just want to leave it covered and like out on the counter overnight, or however long. Here I just put about half of the olive oil that's going to go into the recipe into this pan, and I'm zesting a lemon into it to kind of heat that up and infuse the lemon flavor into the oil. So that's 25 grams of olive oil and the zest of 1 lemon. I have a much easier time not grating down to the pith when I'm zesting rather than peeling. I don't know if like when I'm peeling, I'm like overly cautious and I'm thinking that I'm taking the pith, but it's actually fine what I'm taking, or maybe I'm just bad at it. I don't really know. But anyway, I'm just gently heating it for like 5 to 10 minutes. It's at 160 degrees there. That's just around where you want to be to not burn the lemon and protect the flavor of the oil. Now this is where I'm actually getting into the ice cream base. I'm putting 15 grams of skim milk powder into the pot that I'm going to be putting on the stove, and then I'm going to put my stabilizers in it now. You don't have to use stabilizers. It just won't come out the same and it won't last as long in the freezer, but it works. Like you make ice cream and and you eat it and it's good. And if you just want to use xanthan gum instead, because I think a lot of people do that, you could probably just use 1.5 grams of that. I use a combination of Lambda Carrageenan, Guar gum, and Locust bean gum. So that's 0.2 grams of Lambda Carrageenan, zero point 0.4 grams of Guar gum, and 0.8 grams of Locust bean gum. I always thought it was Guar gum, but I mean, the guy whose videos that I usually watch on ice cream making is British, so I don't know if they just say it differently or what, but I might just keep saying guar gum. I don't know. I think I say most things wrong anyway, so it doesn't really matter. It's important to mix all the dry ingredients first because the stabilizers will clump if you don't mix them up ahead of time. And then this is what the macerated lemon peels look like after they sat for a few hours. The oil kind of comes out of them and the sugar gets a little like wet with the oil. I don't know, I guess wet's not the right word, but I don't know, it looks a little wet. So I ended up putting it all into the mix just because I figured that it'll just give more time for the lemon flavor to come out of those peels. Yeah, so why not? Something I missed is that I put in 5 grams of salt. You can do that whenever, it doesn't have to be before this. I don't really see people add salt to ice cream recipes that often. I'm not really sure if I should be doing it, but I think it helps. I don't know. Now I'm going in with 25 grams of light corn syrup. This kind of messed up the recipe a bit because, well, I messed it up because I put that ingredient into my ice cream calculator on its own to try and get it to be the same as the light corn syrup that I buy. But I inputted it wrong and yeah, I didn't account for the pod or the pack or the hardening factor. So that made all my calculations wrong for a while, including this one. But the ice cream still came out great. It was just underly sweet according to the calculator, but it seemed fine to me. I don't know. I'm gonna make a corrected version though at some point. So I just added 390 grams of whole milk and I'm trying to, stir it up a bit before I put it on the stove. While it's just starting to warm up on the stove, I'm getting the olive oil from earlier ready. You'll see me do something kind of stupid with that in a few seconds. So I'm straining out the lemon zest to see how much oil I still have left after this, because I put 25 grams in. So I'm trying to make sure that I get 25 grams out so that I know how much more oil to put in. But I tore the recipe, I don't know how to say that, with the strainer still on top. So now I can't tell what the oil weighs there. So I just had to get another bowl dirty, which is fine. I probably didn't even have to do the straining here. I probably could have just added the additional 30 grams of olive oil and then put it all into the ice cream base and strained it out the next day, because I'm still gonna have to strain out the big peels the next day anyway. So you can see here that I lost a little more than 2.5 grams of the olive oil. But if I had just put that into the base, then maybe it would have absorbed whatever was left in the peels into the base, and I wouldn't have had to do this. But I don't know. And also like 2.5 grams, that's fine. It doesn't really matter. Whatever the case, you want to end up with around 55 grams of olive oil. After about 10 to 15 minutes of heating it up, the base has gotten to 185 degrees, which I need to get it to hydrate my stabilizers. If you're using xanthan gum, you don't have to get it that hot, and if you're not using a stabilizer, you don't have to get it that hot either. I'd recommend still getting it warmed up a bit just to make sure all the sugar gets, you know, dissolved into the liquid, especially the sugar that was that the lemon peels were sitting in. For xanthan gum, you don't have to heat it to hydrate it. I was just saying, I still recommend you do. But I also don't entirely know what I'm talking about. I added 250 grams of heavy whipping cream. I do that after heating the mixture, because if you heat it with the cream, then the cream can scorch and make like a burnt milk flavor, and it can also interfere with the hydration of the stabilizers. But my main reason is because I like adding it after, because it'll cool down the mixture faster, and I can get it into the fridge faster. Now I'm adding the olive oil. You want to use a whisk and stir it while you're pouring it in. I'm not using a whisk because I don't usually like using whisks for some reason. I don't like cleaning them, but I have a dishwasher, so I don't know. I just don't use them still. You need to do it slowly and stir while you're doing it, because it can be hard to mix the oil with the liquid, because oil and liquid doesn't mix. But there's a bunch of emulsifiers in this, so if it doesn't work out, you can maybe let it sit like overnight and then try it again, or use like an immersion blender, and that should get it together. But I end up just getting a whisk out, and it works, so good luck. But before I get that whisk out, you can see that I'm trying very hard to not have to get that whisk out. And before I get that whisk out, I'm adding the vanilla extract, which I'm gonna zoom in on, because oh, don't that look so cool? It's like a supernova. And here comes the whisk. And then I put it in the fridge overnight, or for at least a couple hours. After it's cooled down for a couple hours, you can add the lemon juice. I just do it the next day before I'm going to churn it. 120 grams of lemon juice, and also it was 7 grams of vanilla extract, by the way. You want to wait until the base is cooled so that adding the lemon juice doesn't curdle the milk. This isn't the first time I've made this. I made this once before. I've changed the recipe since then, but the first time I made it, I added the lemon at the beginning because I didn't know, and nothing happened. It was fine. So maybe it'll be fine if you do it that way, but just to be safe, you should do it this way. I take the ice cream base out of the fridge, and you can see that it thickened a lot because the stabilizers continued to hydrate and, you know, continue to work. And also, it's missing a lot of liquid that it's going to get from the lemon juice. It kind of looked like a thick pudding before adding the lemon juice. And now, yeah, that's looking a lot better. It is going to thicken up more because I put it back into the fridge, so you'll see it be thicker when I'm straining the rest of the peels out. And here I learned my lesson about strainers and scales. I do continue to make that mistake frequently, though. That, and also using my smaller scale for things that are too heavy for it to weigh. So the final weight ends up being 950 grams. The total weight of all the ingredients was 1,018.4 grams. So in the end, it seems like I lost about 6.7% to evaporation. I usually do my recipes with 4% evaporation, because I think I looked that up somewhere. I think it's that on like the ice cream calculator website, that most home ice creams end up with about 4% evaporation. I think 4 and 6 is probably close enough that my calculations are still fine. I mean, they are, because the ice cream works, so I don't know. I came up with this recipe because my friends, their grandmother had this Chewy Buttercake recipe that my friend made for us one time, and it was delicious. And I thought some lemon would go good with it, so I came up with the lemon ice cream recipe. And then I asked them for the Chewy Buttercake recipe, and they gave it to me. I don't know if I'm allowed to share it, so I'm not going to do that, but you can look up Chewy Buttercake, and it's, you know, there's recipes with yellow cake mix, and that is about what this is. The Chewy Buttercake that is in this video has been in my freezer for months, because I made it months ago when I first made this ice cream for the first time. But even if you're making it for now, you should still cut it up and put it in the freezer before mixing it in. Just so that it stays cold and keeps the ice cream cold. This is the first time I tried putting poppy seeds in it. You may have seen me weighing them out up there to see how much I should put in. I ended up weighing out 4 grams. It seemed like that was enough, but as you got down further into the container, there was a lot less of them. So maybe you might want to do a little more, but 4 is a good place to start. If you're making it for the first time, just use 4 grams of poppy seeds, or don't use any. Once you get that all put away, you want to scrape any of the drippings into the bowl and, you know, rub it around, get it all cold, and then just eat it like a bear, you know, with your paws. I mean, you could always just eat the ice cream now. You know, you do whatever you want, whenever you want. I don't really care. It'll be like like soft serve kind of. But if you want to firm it up like, like an ice cream that you would get in the store, then you just put it in the freezer for a few hours. I usually do it overnight. So then here comes the taste test. It was great. I don't know. This was like a month ago, but it was really good. I brought it to a party or no. Yeah, that's right. I made this because people from out of town were coming in and staying with somebody else. So I made 2 ice creams for them. This is the first one. I'll do the other one at some point. But yeah, everybody loved it. I'm gonna change the recipe at some point to fix it after I fixed the light corn syrup in my ice cream calculator. And I'm also, so this time I tried to add more olive oil than last time because the olive oil flavor doesn't really come through. And it still doesn't really come through for me, but maybe it's because there's too much lemon flavor or something. I don't really know, but the olive oil does add a lot to the texture, so I would say definitely still add it. I cut from here to take some thumbnail pictures, and it took me like 10 to 15 minutes to do it. Boop, 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 boop. It was 7 minutes. I just checked when the videos were recorded. Beep, 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 beep. And none of them came. I took every single picture, I think, from the bed side of the ice cream. It looked good. It looked good when I was swirling around there. I don't know if I'm even going to use those pictures. But yeah, and then I forgot to turn the camera back on when I was eating it. Because I think people like to see people eating the thing. So here is me eating the thing. And this is like, 7 minutes later, it's still, it's just been sitting out for 7 minutes and it's still pretty solid, like not melty. I don't know. That seems, it seems good. I don't know. Hey, thanks for watching, everybody. Great to see you. Bye bye.